Welcome to Country Fried Rock, where we have conversations with songwriters for real music lovers who enjoy context and musical connection. We are Country Fried Rock. I'm your host, Sloane Spencer. Today on Country Fried Rock, I talk with Drew Holcomb. After 18 months on the road with a full band and a small child, has recently had some changes, as his wife Ellie has chosen to focus on her own direction of songwriting and music and spend some more time with their toddler. They're all looking at new changes for the upcoming year. In our conversation, Holcomb shares information about their first ever Moon River Festival coming this June in his hometown of Memphis at Levitt Shell, with some other Country Fried Rock alumni on that bill. Find out where they're headed, on tour this summer, and a sneak peek at a brand new record. Today, it's Drew Holcomb on Country Fried Rock. Head to countryfriedrock.org/Bonnaroo and enter a sweepstakes to win passes for two for all 4 days of Bonnaroo, including camping. Enter now at countryfriedrock.org/Bonnaroo. No purchase necessary. See website for details. My guest today on Country Fried Rock is Drew Holcomb of Drew Holcomb and the Neighbors. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
I'm excited to get to talk with you. I think when I first tried to track you down, y'all were in the middle of having a little bit of a family expansion.
That's right. Yeah, we, about 16 months ago, we welcomed our first child, first and only current child. Her name is Emmy Lou, and it just added a lot of goodness and spice to the adventure that our life is. So
that's nice. Well, as a parent myself, and not to get too much off on the parent tangent, but it changes your world in ways you can never imagine.
Yeah, it's funny. A lot of people kind of have these so many warnings. Your wife is pregnant. I found a lot of those warnings to be just not exactly my experience. I mean, it's obviously been difficult, and there's changes and everything, but the changes for me have all been really, really great. Like, I really enjoyed kind of the paradigm shifts that happened with a kid, and it's made my work more satisfying and my family life more satisfying. We really enjoyed it.
That's awesome. Well, I'm with you there. I mean, from a personal standpoint, I found it was nice to no longer be the center of my own universe.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And
a really healthy perspective.
Y'all are getting ready to have quite a bit of tour. Are you going to take Emily with you all?
No, actually, she went with us the first year and a half, and we were out all over the country. I mean, she saw 35 states before her 6 months, which was great, but it was also really crazy and chaotic. And for that reason, she's now at that stage where traveling all the time is just not really a very fun option for her and for us. So that, alongside of Ellie kind of wanting to take a creative departure and do some of her own stuff, Ellie has quit the band and is still going to be around here and there and sing on some records and do a show every now and then. But really now it's just the fellas. Kind of a big change, but it's one that our fans have been really gracious about. Everybody understands,
Absolutely. It's actually easier to take a baby with you. Once they start walking, forget it.
Yeah, it's like once she starts walking, you sit in front of that car seat, she's just mad.
And she's not big enough to stand on the side with a tambourine yet.
Yeah, right. We're working on it, but we're not quite there yet.
That's a big change for the band, for Ellie to be doing her own thing solely. What is that doing to your songs?
It's actually been a good thing. I think there was, in some ways, there was a pressure, not necessarily a conscious pressure, but there was a pressure for us to kind of write songs that were really autobiographical about our own domestic relationship and our marriage and things like that. And it's really kind of given me freedom as I start to kind of write for a new record, to write outside of that. And I think it's actually, we'll still write some things together, and 3 songs, I think, on the last album that we wrote together. And so there's definitely going to maintain like a creative relationship, obviously, but it's also given me kind of a little bit of a broader spectrum from which to write just by myself.
That's kind of nice.
Yeah, it is. And we've been married for 8 years and been traveling and making music for a long time, and so there's just a real healthy sense of giving each other space to create, make art, and support each other in that endeavor.
In kicking off this upcoming tour, it looks like you're starting it off with a huge festival of your own.
Yeah, we are, and Ellie will be a part of that for sure, hopefully every year. So I've always wanted to throw my own festival, and I've always also wanted to invite my fans to my hometown of Memphis. The festival idea really comes from seeing, in our kind of world, we play a lot of festivals, especially in the summertime, and it's just such a great way to gather people together. It's music, and last summer we played Bonnaroo, and we just really loved the camaraderie that happened there, just meeting a lot of other bands and fans coming together together. And one thing that happens at a festival is you may go to a festival to hear one band, but then you hear four others, and all of a sudden your musical taste gets expanded and
Absolutely.
your palette grows. And, so basically, we found the right venue, and we took the chance financially to make it happen. And we're throwing this festival, and it's June 7th in Memphis. It's called the Moon River Festival, and we're having some amazing acts, people like Lil Hogue and Holly Williams and Dirty Governors. And our goal with the event is for it to be a really family atmosphere, both literally having people bring their families, but also musically there'll be a lot of, hopefully, interaction on stage between the artists and a real fun musical atmosphere. Something that we hope to do every summer if it works out.
Country Fried Rock is committed to supporting the musicians, making the music we love. Help them out by buying their music, and help us out at no extra cost by purchasing through the links on our website. Find us on iTunes, Spreaker, Podfeed, Player FM, Blueberry, Stitcher, Gigadial, Digital Podcast, and some great apps including Agogo and Swell in both the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Wherever you listen, you'll find Country Fried Rock. Never miss an episode.
Hey, this is Drew Holcomb from Drew Holcomb and the Neighbors, and you're listening to Country Fried Rock.
Are you doing it at Levitt Shell? Is that right?
Yeah, Levitt Shell.
Very neat. The Memphis connection. I thought you all were from Nashville. I didn't realize you were from Memphis.
Yeah, well, we live in Nashville, but I grew up in Memphis and made my first 2 records in Memphis, made Good Light in Memphis, and got my start in music working at a studio there, and Memphis is definitely home for me. I mean, I even still keep my 901 number, even though I haven't lived there in 8 years. I can't let go, in a good way.
That explains, well, not just the connection, but, there's a connection for lots of people to Ardent Studios. How did you make the decision to record Good Light there?
Ardent is such a historic place. There's been so many of Memphis's finest musical moments happened in that building. I knew I wanted to get out of Nashville to make Good Light. I just felt like as a band we needed to get away from the distractions of home, and Ardent just made great sense. It's a great studio. They have great gear, great setup. It sounds incredible in there. A big old room where we could track live, which is a big desire of how we wanted to make the record. And so it just made perfect sense. And we also got to experience the benefit of being right there on Madison Avenue where there's 10 great places to eat. So we would get there in the morning, have a big lunch, track all day, eat a big dinner, go back in and track some more, and just really had a great experience making that record. Other
than just being a Memphis institution, was there anything in particular that kind of spoke to you about that place?
Well, I mean, obviously the Big Star connection is really neat. When I was in high school, I was a big Dylan fan, and I heard through the grapevine that he was recording down there. I think Love and Theft. And, I didn't, want to go stalk him or anything, but that was real crazy that one of your heroes is, in your town. You're, celebritied out a little bit about that. And then, a lot of the soul stuff that Stax did there back in the 70s, I love. And, when I was a kid, some of the 90s pop records, like the Gin Blossoms record was recorded there, and Sister Hazel's record, and all the stuff that was playing on the radio when you're in 9th and 10th grade, which has a lot of impact on your musical formation. That was a lot of that stuff was recorded there, so that was really neat.
It does. Parents of early teens, make sure they're listening to good stuff.
That's right. That's right.
My proudest parenting moment ever was when my kid was 2 and he was in Montessori, and they're like, "So what songs do you like?" And he says, "Redemption Song."
Oh, nice. Actually, one of my first concerts was the Wailers, obviously sans Bob Marley, but it was Ziggy Marley and the Wailers Music Fest down Riverfront Park.
Festivals, you mentioned earlier that festivals really are a way to, you think you're going to see one band and you come home with 2 new favorite bands you'd never heard of before.
Yep. Yeah, totally. And that's a great example. I went down there to see Ben Folds. Back then it was the Ben Folds 5. And my friend was like, "Hey, we can go hear the Wailers." And I didn't know anything about them. And all of a sudden now you went and got, Bob Marley's greatest hits. And like everybody in high school, once you get to that point, you listen to it over and over and over again. And you try to find the girl that you're really into and get her to slow dance with you to No Woman, No Cry.
Of course.
It's 7 minutes long,
Pick up your limited edition Country Fried Rock merchandise at Ignition Music Garage in Goshen, Indiana. You can find Country Fried Rock on great radio stations like 91.1 The Globe in Goshen, Indiana. Wildman Steve Radio Network from Auburn, Alabama, around the world. Online from Texas at Root Hog Radio, part of Radio Free Americana. From Mobile, Alabama on the Mod Mobilian Radio Network. Listen in Georgetown, California at KFOK 96.1. From Kodiak, Alaska on KMXT. KSRQ, Grand Forks, Minnesota. KKRN, Round Mountain, California. KDRP, solar-powered radio from Dripping Springs, Texas. WALW, Moulton, Alabama. And other great stations like CJXF, Calgary, Canada.
Hey, this is Drew Holcomb, and you can find our music at drewholcomb.com.
Beyond kicking off with your own new festival, with the Moon River Festival, y'all are going to be running out to Texas a couple of times and all kinds of things in between.
We got a lot of fun stuff happening. We are going to Texas. We're going to some of my favorite venues. We're playing the Orange Peel in Asheville, North Carolina.
Oh, great place.
An amazing venue. Track 29, which is a really great new venue in Chattanooga.
Mm-hmm.
Going to Cincinnati. It's a short tour for us because we toured so hard last year, but we always like to stay, we do at least some kind of tour every semester, every couple of months, just because essentially that's what our identity is as a band, is we're a touring band. So for us to disappear for, a year in the studio, it's just not exactly it's just not the kind of band that we are. We like to go in and record relatively quickly and live because that's what we do. So this tour is just kind of an extension of the Good Light tour, but it's markets that we haven't hit yet.
Track 29 is a neat place.
Yeah, really cool. Playing a really great festival as well in Louisville called Forecastle. Yeah, it's a great lineup. It's like Beck, Ray LaMontagne, Outkast, Jack White, Jason Isbell. It's going to be a great festival.
You've hinted a little bit that maybe there's some new music happening?
Yeah, absolutely. I have been writing a lot in the last 4 or 5 months, and we will probably go to the studio sometime this summer and start working on the follow-up. Yeah, so there's nothing specific yet. We'll probably be playing a handful of new songs on this tour.
Nice.
I hope to kind of start developing that idea, and that's all I can say.
What would you like to bring into this next recording process?
It'll be an extension of what we've done in the past, with probably an approach that is even more organic and more live and more I just love so many of those classic records, the Van Morrison records, Dylan records, and we're going to keep exploring that same territory where it's all about having the songs, hopefully writing good songs, great songs, and having really, really great players in a great studio and pushing record and letting the chips fall.
Do you have a particular producer that you like to work with, or someone you would like to?
This next album will be produced mostly by the band. We've made lots of records with different producers and really feel like we've kind of gotten to a point where we know what we're looking for, and we'll bring other great players in the room and kind of let it be a very democratic process. Instead of having a producer kind of tell us what to do, we'll tell each other what to do.
Check out our live music partners at linguamusicalive.com. Live events that you can attend near Asheville, North Carolina, as well as their online video series, Lingua Musica Live. Country Fried Rock is committed to helping prevent musician suicide. For the last 2 years, our official charity has been Nucci's Space, a nonprofit organization removing barriers to mental health care for the music community of Athens, Georgia. This model program addresses everything from the need for affordable rehearsal space to loaner gear, as well as direct mental health services and primary care for musicians. We've got a ton of ways you can help them out at countryfriedrock.bandcamp.com. 2 incredible album compilations, baby onesies. Check it all out. Get some great music for yourself or for a friend and make a difference.
This is Drew Holcomb, and you can buy our album Good Light on iTunes or at drewholcomb.com.
With Ellie not being a regular touring member of the band anymore, have you added someone else?
We have. Yeah, we've got a full-time keys player now. His name's Swan Hill. He's in Johnny Lang's band sometimes, what has been in the past. He'll be out with us this spring. We didn't want to leave too much of a void up on stage because we know that there will be people who will be disappointed that Ellie's not there, so we got to try to give them something extra to fill the gap in their hearts.
So when you all are doing this next run, are you taking anyone in particular with you as an opener?
Yeah, there's a band that we met out of East Tennessee called Judah and the Lion.
Oh, yeah.
And they're great. They're kind of a part of the folk revival set, but they're, it's kind of a southern version of that, and they're young guys. They're really great, really energetic. They opened for us one time last year, and it was one of those situations where I love it when an opener plays, and I have to, start taking my show even more seriously because they did such a good job.
That's great.
And they got the crowd so fired up, and so that's who we decided to take on this tour. And they're actually working on they put out an EP, and they're working on their first full length, and they're great. They're solid. They're actually going to be a part of the festival as well.
Very cool. I think I heard their EP off of Noise Trade. I think that's how I know who they are.
Yeah, yeah.
Speaking of festivals and other bands playing and that sort of thing, has there been anybody that maybe you weren't tuned into previously that's been on your radar the last couple of years?
There's sometimes, what happens when you're a musician is people talk about bands and you kind of just let them fly by without paying any attention, and then you come back and you go, wow, why didn't I pay attention to that? Something I've been listening to quite a bit it's huge, but it's just something that I've been liking a lot is Band of Horses. They're a great band. And then, I just bought the new Beck record. I love his Sea Change record. This is kind of the follow-up to that. Those are a couple that are in my rotation. Jason Isbell's record that came out last year I've completely worn it out. I think the songs are just amazing.
Well, so what other things do y'all have on the horizon?
Looks like we are going to go back to Europe in the fall. Possibly a West Coast run. So we're going to take a little time off this summer besides our festival and a few other little festivals, and then we'll start hitting it again. Probably record a record this summer and then start getting ready to release it about a year from now. And in the meantime, we're going to do a tour over in Europe, and then we'll probably head out to the West Coast.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Safe travels to y'all.
Thanks so much.
Country Fried Rock, music uncovered. You can subscribe to our weekly podcast on iTunes. Just search Country Fried Rock. Our Country Fried Rock stinger is from Steve Soto and the Twisted Hearts. Country Fried Rock. Copyright 2013 by Lily Pad Productions. All rights reserved. Country Fried Rock is a partnership with the nonprofit Florence Regional Arts Alliance. Your donations to this program are tax deductible to the extent you are eligible under U.S. law. Country Fried Rock radio programs are distributed to public radio through the Public Radio Exchange, prx.org.
Ever he been helping us some country fried rock.